जनाब पंजवानी साहब, जनाब अलमास हैदर साहब, my very dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, students, faculty members, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a pleasure to see International Conference on Textiles and Clothing back in the arena. We missed a few years, but I'm glad that under the leadership of Dr. Mumtaz, it has come again, and we will try to continue to hold it every year from now on in future. The relationship of UMT or ILM with the world of textiles in Pakistan is not new. We started in this field in 1993. It was something surprising for the private sector to start programs in textiles, and so far I believe out of all the institutions in private sector in the city of Lahore, UMT is the only institution having faculty as well as a school in the field of textiles. In 1993, we went to textile industry. We discussed with textile professionals, textile owners, and we found that they need people who have blended expertise, because by that time they were having foremen, they were having spinning managers, they were having weaving managers, dyeing managers, but they were not professionally trained. They rose from the ranks, they acquired speciality and their proficiency of their skills, and they were handling the affairs on the shop floor. So they needed a new breed, because they were, by that time they were getting only textiles engineers, focusing only on textile engineering from NTU. So they needed some multidisciplinary orientation where students would have enough of the exposure and knowledge about technology, what's going on, how to run the factory, and being able to understand the process of textiles, and also having managerial expertise, capability to develop feasibility studies, capability to develop and understand the projects and evaluate projects, run the marketing campaign, develop brands, develop wholesale and retail operations, and capable of doing marketing surveys outside Pakistan. So these were the requirements of the industry. So we came up with a new program known as Bachelor's Textiles Technology Management, BTTM. So this was in contrast to Bachelor's Textiles Engineering offered by Textiles University Faisalabad. At that time it was perhaps the college, and then later on another college that was established in Karachi, textiles, in the area of textiles by Aptamite, I guess. So we received initially some resistance when our students went out, because those who were not multidisciplinary, and those who were graduates of NTU, they didn't let our graduates get jobs. They didn't really welcome them, although they needed them. But they thought that they will outpace us, they would outplace us. So there was initial resistance. But our students got into the jobs and they were placed, and then they did good job. And I still meet those people and I find them being appreciated, being regarded, being acknowledged for their good work, for their orientation. I believe that the person who had role number 1 is now back to us after 20 years and is taking up MBA because he wants to start his own textile industry. We would meet them very often in planes and other areas where they would be traveling or working for the work. So that was our initial starting point. We started within program innovation, and we started with something that was needed by the industry. And then we went on, and we also developed diploma programs focused diploma programs, diploma in spinning, diploma in weaving, diploma in merchandising, diploma in garment production, and so on and so forth. And all of these, about half a dozen programs, diploma programs in textiles were very popular. And courses were taught by people who were hands-on in these industries. So they would come in the afternoon or in the evening, and they will conduct classes, and they will provide hands-on information to these students who were actually looking for a career, as well as maybe they were also hoping to start up a business in this area. So these were times of the 90s and early 2000s and so on and so forth. Then became university, and we established these schools of Department of Textiles and then School of Textiles. At one time, we used to have 5 PhDs in textiles in our own department, which was the highest concentration of PhD perhaps in all over the country. And you were able to have 5 PhDs in textiles within our own department. So I think UMT, the commitment of UMT has been there. The production of UMT in terms of human capital has also been there in the industry. And the recognition has also been there. But I do feel, and we have representation from Lahore Chamber. I'm really pleased to welcome Mr. Almas Heather. He is very active in relating industry with academia, and he is also aware of the dynamics of the growth and evolution of industry, and also very well aware of what's going on around the city of Lahore and where we stand. He is himself, of course, an industrialist. So we feel that textiles today is facing pressures, is under severe pressures. Yes, we have very good production of cotton bales. Again, maybe about 15 million bales or something would come out. Punjab has been able to hold its share. Sindh has been also had it's flat. It was down last year, but this year maybe it is back. So cotton production is there, which is the input needed by the spinners, and then of course onwards to weavers and the value addition industry. And we can enhance cotton production, of course, from 50 million onwards as well. Each bale is about 470 pounds. So I think we have done a good job in maintaining the production of cotton in our areas. Although there is a shift of in some of the locales where cotton was grown, but now they are moving to other areas, which should be studied and which should be critically seen as to what would be the impact. There are a few places where there is no cotton production now, although there was cotton production before. So we see the backbone, which is the production of cotton, is still there for us, and it can be further enhanced in terms of productivity per acre and so on and so forth. We also see that in the last 10 years, our textile producers have tremendously added their capacity, their talent, their potential in terms of marketing and branding, and setting up wholesale and retail operations, and expanding and developing a very elaborate outreach program. So that's fundamentally very good, because you are now connected with the end consumers, not just here but also outside the country. So fashion designing, fashion branding, and retail operations and sales. So this was not there. Earlier our textiles were spinners and weavers, and they would sell cotton yarn or grey cloths and would be very happy about it. So but now they are developing their own brands, they are developing their own designs, they are developing their own, putting their own ideas into practice, and they're getting good remarks and good response from Europe and other places. So that is fundamentally a very, very good to know and good to learn. However, I do feel that industry needs restructuring. When I went to Sri Lanka, I found out that the population of Sri Lanka is about 20 million. Their exports are touching about 25-30 billion dollars. Population of Pakistan is, by the way, 200. Exports have come down from 30 to about 20 billion dollars. So this is a huge challenge for us, and we need to actually sit together and raise alarms and do really critical study and see how can we arrest this trend. Maybe next year, if we do not arrest, then if in 4 years we can come down from $28 billion to 20, in the next 4 years we can go down from 20 to 15 and 10. So what's going to happen? Our imports are about $45 billion. So there is this widening gap between our exports and our imports. So we need a restructuring. Bangladesh, again, has restructured its whole industry. A population of about 150 million people, exporting $35 billion, about 75% more than Pakistan. So there is something wrong, there is something we are missing, there are some deficits, and there are some shortcomings. And there is some real overhaul that is needed, some transformation is needed, some redo is needed, and some rethinking is needed. And unless we do that, we are world's 3, 4, 5 largest growers, producers of yarn, but we are missing out the markets. We are being shown the gate in many different markets, in many different products. For example, towels, bed sheets, clothings, and upholstery in the United States, in Spain, and other areas. Figures are really very dismal and getting more and more dismal. So it's our youth, they need employment. And our textile is about 60-70% of us in terms of our business, industry, exports, and everything. One thing that I do also consider important is that we need a change of players. Previous grandmasters of textiles have opted to become other things. They are now going into other areas, this. They started with textile, but they are now known for other things. They have migrated, actually. Their stakes are not in textiles. Textile is just an add-on or a hang-on or a drag-on industry for them. So I do believe that a changeover is required. And I do hope that you as students would take up textiles, would see what the needs are, would see what the demands are in the world, and would develop some new ideas and would become textile entrepreneur, and would not just go for the end market where you pick up something gray and then you design it, you dye it, you make it, you stitch it, and then you sell it. But you also shift your attention to the processes, to the prime processes, back processes. For example, ginning, spinning, weaving, and so on and so forth. So I do believe that there is great demand for that. We need new players, we need new ideas, we need new industry structures, and I hope that this School of Textile and Design would take care of that, showing the path of career progression, as well as offering solutions for business startups, for entrepreneurship, for setting up enterprises in Pakistan and abroad. A few months back, a textile student came to me. He did Bachelor's Textiles Technology and Management with us, and in his final year, he developed a project of exporting something from Pakistan. I really can't remember. So that was his project. And after having done like 6-7 months or a year of job, he went back to his project and he started business. So he was telling me that a year ago, when he came to me a year ago, he had exported goods worth 40 million rupees to UAE. So you see, a small project that goes on anyway, that you would do anyway, and made him an entrepreneur, and he exported something like 40 million rupees already in the first year, and then he came to me to ask for some cooperation, and he was opening an office now. He was going to open an office in Dubai, Rizal. So this is how you develop yourself. I really have very good hopes, high hopes from all of you, and I hope that our schools will be able to cater to your upbringing, upgradation, and your welfare and well-being in future times. Thank you.